In this video, we are going to give an introduction to fractions. A fraction is a part of a whole or a group of items. Now, there are many ways to think of fraction, but let us get into the basic fundamental of what a fraction is. Consider a circle. This circle can be a cake, or it can be a tasty pizza. Suppose you divide this cake into four equal parts. So I cut this cake into four parts. This part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4. And then what I do, I take out this part or shade this part. Now I ask you, what portion of the circle is shaded? Or in a better statement, I may ask you, what fraction of the circle is shaded? What can we say about the shaded portion of this particular circle, or say pizza? We can say that 1 out of 4, we can say that 1 out of 4 total parts is shaded. And now this statement can be mathematically written like this: 1 out of 4. So 1 is written first, and then a line is drawn, and we put the total portion at the bottom of the line. So how many total units are there? There are total 4 units: 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are 4 units, and out of those 1 unit is shaded. Now let's take one more example. What if we ask you to have 2 portions out of 8 portions shaded for this particular rectangle? You can consider this as a chocolate bar. So how can we make 2 portions shaded out of 8? So first of all, we have to divide this rectangle into 8 equal parts. So very roughly, let me first divide this bar or rectangle into 2 parts. Then I further divide the 2 halves into another 2 halves. So we got 4 equal parts. So now again we roughly divide these portions into equal parts. So now I think I have got 8 equal parts. This may not be perfect, but for understanding purpose, let's consider that all these divided parts are equal. We have got 8 parts: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 equal parts are there, and now we are asked to shade 2 shaded out of 8, or total unit. Now this total unit can be called as a whole also. WHOL, whole. This is a whole bar of chocolate. This is a whole piece of cake, or a whole piece of pizza. So now coming to the point, we need to shade 2 portions. It does not matter which portions you shade. It may be the first one, it may be the second one, it can be anywhere. So this is one portion, and let me shade this portion. So now you can see that I have shaded 2 portions out of total 8 portions. So now this statement can be represented mathematically by putting the shaded portion at the top and the unshaded portion at the bottom of a line. So by now you should understand that a fraction consists of a top number. Let me write that down. Top number, and then there is a line in between, and then there is a bottom number. Now what does this top number represent? This top number represents number of parts under consideration, and then we draw a line in between, and then beneath the line on the bottom part represents the total number of parts. So now what is this number of parts under consideration? Is the number of parts we are talking about. Suppose you can say that how much portion of the rectangle is shaded. So this will be 2 upon 8, 2 upon, we also say upon, so 2, then a line, then the total number of parts, which is 8. We could have also told that consider this bar of chocolate, and I have taken 2/8 of the chocolate. So you read this also as like this: 2/8. This is 1 out of 4 parts shaded. So here this part is the number of part which is under consideration, or what we are talking about. If they have asked you, sorry, now this we also read as 1/4 part is shaded. Instead of asking how much portion of this circle is not shaded or how much portion of the circle is pink, then we could have told that how many portion? 1, this is one portion, this is second portion, this is third portion. So 3 portion is not shaded or is pink in color. Then we draw a line, and beneath the line we write down the total number of parts. The total number of parts is 4. So now this upper portion is the number of parts under consideration. So when they ask how much portion of the circle is not shaded in white color, then that will be 3/4 or 3/4. This is also written as 3/4. So 3/4 part of the circle is not shaded, Similarly, for this particular question, if the number of parts are in consideration represents the unshaded portion or the portion which is not yellow in color, will be how many? Out of 8, 2 are shaded with yellow, then we will be left with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will be left with 6 parts. So 6 unshaded. So this is the portion or number of parts under consideration. It will be 6, and this number 6 is the number of parts under consideration, or 6 is the number of number of parts which is not shaded, and the total number of parts is written beneath, and that will be 8 here again. So this 6/8 or 6/8 represents the unshaded portion of the rectangle. So I hope that you have understood what a fraction represents. Now please try to figure out how much portion of these figures are yellow in color. So I suggest you to please pause the video and check if you can solve that. So out of this is a octagon, it has got 8 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 equal parts are there, and out of those 8 equal parts we can see that 2 parts out of 8 parts are yellow in color. So 2 upon the total number of part is 8. So this represents the number of portion shaded or number of portions yellow in color. Similarly, for this particular figure, this is a square, and that is again partitioned into 4 equal parts. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can also view this as there are 4 parts, and out of those 4 parts, 3 are shaded yellow in color, 1, 2 and 3. So we can write down this as 3 represents the number of parts shaded or yellow in color, and the number below the line will be the total number of parts, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 3/4 or 3/4. This is 2/8. We read this as 2/8. This is 3/4 or 3/4 or 3/4. All are ways of speaking out this figure. This is 2/8, 2/8 or 2/8. So this figure and this figure we have resolved. Now coming to the third figure. So now please pay attention here. This is very important. Now you see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 portions, and out of which 2 portions are yellow in color, 1 and 2. So you may be tempted to write down 2 upon total number of portions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2/6. But my dear little friends, this answer is wrong. And why? Let me tell you. In fractions, it is very important that the portion or the number of parts under consideration, I told you in the last, total number of parts under consideration, these parts should be equal in size, You see over here, the parts over here are not equal. There are smaller parts, there are bigger parts. So the parts are, or the elements of which this whole is made, the elements of which this whole triangle is made are not equal. So we cannot represent the shaded portion in form of fraction 2 by 6. So this is wrong. So it is important that whenever you are considering such type of questions, you should remember that division into equal parts is important. Otherwise, your answers to certain questions may go wrong. I hope this fractions makes some sense to you. We will describe this more on fraction in later videos. Thank you. So till now we have learned that a fraction is a part of a whole or a group of items. It is represented by two numbers with a line in between, just like this, where the top number represents the number of parts under consideration and the bottom number, that is the number at the bottom of the line, represents total number of parts. Let us take an example. Suppose we have got some balls. We have got red balls, and then we also have got some yellow balls. So now if you are asked what fraction of red balls are there, what fraction of red balls are there, then what will be our answer? So we have got, as I have already told, that fraction is a part of a whole. Now this whole balls, this total number of balls represents the bottom part, that is the total number of parts. So let me write down. First of all, we draw a line, and the bottom part represents the total number of parts. So how many total balls are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are total 8 balls. Now out of these 8 balls, how many are red balls? That we will put at the top of this black line, or as because this is the number of balls under consideration. This is the number of balls under consideration. So we are now talking about red balls. We are now talking about red balls. So we'll consider red balls. So 3 balls are red, 3 will go at the top. So 3 upon 8 is the fraction of red balls in this particular figure. Suppose if we were asked fraction of yellow balls, if you are asked how much fraction is of yellow balls, then our answer would have been how many. So first of all, you can see that first of all we'll draw a line, and then we'll count the total number of balls. The total number of balls will remain the same, that is 8, and above this line we will put the number of balls under consideration, and the number of balls under, and the type of balls under discussion are the yellow balls. So there are how many yellow balls? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are 5 yellow balls which will go at the top of the line. So this is the answer to this particular question. I hope you have understood what we mean by fraction by now. So we can say that a fraction is a number which can be written as a upon b, or a by b, where a and b are whole numbers, and I will also later discuss that this b should not be equal to 0, because if you are considering a part of a whole, then we can see that this whole can never be something which is nothing, that is 0. So this a upon b should not be equal to 0, and a and b are whole numbers. This is how we can represent any fraction. A upon b, where a and b are any numbers. Now a new thing, let us know that the top number is called the numerator. The number above the line is called the numerator, and the bottom number we are talking about till now is called the denominator. Numerator, numerator, Denominator denominator represents the whole, and numerator represents the number of parts. So this is the whole, whole, and this numerator represents parts. So I hope you have quite understood what a fraction is. And another thing I must tell you at this point of time, that the number of parts under consideration, that is these balls, should be of equal. And one more thing that we have seen in the first part is that these parts put at the numerator, or the parts should be equal in size. So all the parts of which the whole or the total thing is made of should be equal. That is, the whole should be divided into parts of equal size. So this is all about the introduction to fraction. So let us dive now a bit more into the detail of fractions. Thank you.